I'm Murray Carter. Welcome to Carter Cutlery's High Performance Tips. We're at Terry's Gym in Vernonia, Oregon with bodybuilding expert Terry Foltz. What are we going to do now, Terry?
Well, we're going to discuss one of the most important things about training, the importance of spotting. We never want to work out in the gym by ourselves unless we're using friendly equipment, okay? A piece of apparatus that is going to provide a measure of safety to us. When we're in a free weight situation, we want to make sure, number one, that we don't get hurt. And to avoid injuries, we need to make sure that we have a spotter available. Some gyms and different clubs require someone to have a spotter or they can't perform the lift, period. So in this gym, I request that people have a spotter, and I'll even spot for them if necessary. The importance of a spotter is it's basically a no-brainer. If you get to the point to where you cannot complete the motion, the weight can come back and actually physically harm you.
Sure.
Okay, so why don't you demonstrate that for us, Murray? I'm going to have you do some bench press. I'm going to show the viewing audience the proper method to spot a bench press.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, nice grip. Take the weight. I'm going to just go with you to make sure you got it. You're safe. Okay, you got it. A spotter needs to be right on top of things. You need to be right here and handy. You need to watch this man. His very life is dependent on your eye. So I can see now that he's starting to get tired. He's going to need some help. I'm not going to give him help until he needs it. Okay. I safely spotted him back to the stanchion. The weight is back in a secure position, and the lifter is safe. So I did my job. What you're going to find, in a lot of times, are people that try to do things they really shouldn't. They're going to, number one, you're going to find people that forgot to check their ego at the door. They're going to come in to see how strong they are. Those are the type of the people that usually walk out the door injured because they don't, number one, have a spotter, and they're trying to lift more weight than they can actually manage. Okay, so when we understand that distinction and we've checked our ego at the door, we make sure we've got a spotter. We also want to make sure that the spotter knows what he's doing.
Sure.
The spotter can also be served as someone that can hurt you because he may not recognize just how much strength you have left. I was watching you very carefully. I was right positioned over you where I have a line of power. If I'm standing back here and I've got my hands out like that, how much weight can a person possibly lift out there? Not much.
Yeah,
but you'll see people do that. Mm-hmm. You'll also see people come over and say, hey man, you need a spot, and they'll pick up one end of the bench. When you pick up one end of the bench, he's going to go right off. He's going to hurt himself seriously. So what you need to make certain of is don't allow a spotter to spot you that doesn't know what he's doing. Ask someone to spot you that you're comfortable with. And once you find somebody you're comfortable with, try to keep them around. Make them a training partner. You know, that's the
spot
best
for
way.
him too.
And spot him back because it's a shared responsibility. But it's so important that spotting is done not only when it's needed, but done correctly.
Yeah, another thing that comes to mind, Terry, is that I notice when you spot me or some of the other guys in here that we train with spot, they're only taking just enough of the weight so that we can complete the rep without doing the rep for us. So we still get the benefit from those last 5-10 inches of movement.
Yep. There's two different things that you can do as a spotter. As a matter of fact, the list is continuous if we really think about that. But we're going to talk about two things. Number one is safety for the lifter. And number two would be to make sure that the the lifter is getting the maximum that he can get
The
out of
benefit.
the end of it, out of the exercise, to, in other words, to reap all the benefit that he can from that. And what you want to make certain of is that the spotter himself is positioned. You have to get rather friendly with the person you're training with, because you're going to get into some pretty close positions. And in order to do so, I don't want to reach way out like this and not be over friendly and move in towards you and get in here where I've got some real raw power. If I stay back here and try to, come on, Murray, that's just not going to work. I need to get up here, Murray, and I need to lift that weight right off of you. I need to be in a position where I can give you my power when you run out of your own. Okay, that's spotting.
Great. Well, let's try the next exercise.
We're going to go to the next exercise and show where spotting comes in a very crucial way on a different apparatus.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Okay, we're at a cable machine, Murray, and when we spot a cable machine, it's different than what we do with a free weight. We generally want to spot the cable. And what I mean by that, if you'll go ahead and take a push-down grip on that.
Wide or narrow?
Either way, whatever you're comfortable with. We're just going to talk about spotting. Okay, with this now, when you start to fail like you normally will after 10, 20 reps, especially if you've done 5 or 6 sets, you're going to start to fail. And when you do that, it's my job as the spotter is to get a couple more reps out of you so we can recruit a little bit more muscle on the way. So when you do that, let's say you're starting to get tired and I want you to let me spot you. So when you are up now, you're going to have trouble pushing it down, so I want you to act like you are, okay? So he's having trouble, so I'm going to spot by pushing on the cable. I'm not going to grab this part of the apparatus and turn him off, or that side, or try to balance somewhere in the middle by putting my hand in here. I'm going to grab the cable, and I'm going to pull in a line that is within the flow of the cable. If I pulled the cable over like this, I'm really going to mess him up. If I reach over to try to spot him and I push the cable over like that, I'm really going to mess him up. So my job as a spotter is to pinch the cable or part of the cable network and go up and down in a line that is in the same range as the cable as far as how it is moving. I don't want to move the cable from side to side. It could move him. I could actually, as a spotter, injure him, because if I were to pull it to one side, all the weight shifts to one side.
Now, what about Terry? What about spotting on the way back?
Spotting is not necessary on the way back. I can pull and make it harder for you. That's called negative resistance. But on an exercise like this, we really won't need to do that. But that's a good thing to bring up. That can be done. You can spot both the positive and the negative portions of the exercise. So if I was to spot the positive part, that would be helping you down with the push. And if you were fresh and strong and I wanted to make this harder for you, say we didn't have the luxury of more weight to put on, and if I wanted to make it harder, then I would pull it back just a little bit, make that negative a little bit harder for you to do.
Let's give a little demo on that.
Okay, if you'd like.
Push hard enough to tire me right out.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you come down, then I'm going to pull it back. But I have to pull it back towards the cable. I don't want to pull it to one side or the other. I have to pull it back towards the cable. So I'm pulling both arms at the same time.
I suppose you could on some machines you could pull and resist that movement like
Yes.
you're doing there. Yeah, boy,
Yes.
that really makes it tough.
See that? Now we don't need to worry about that because we have the luxury of a whole bunch more weight to use. But if we're using free weights, that principle you just talked about, the positive and the negative, is really a cool way to make things harder, but keeping it also safe. So you're not dealing with a great deal of weight, which could cause a severe injury, but you're dealing with enough resistance and human resistance on top of the free weight. So you've done workouts with me
There's
before.
a psychological element
Yes,
to it, yeah.
when we are actually at war with one another, because if I'm doing arm curls, you're holding it back and I'm trying to pull it in, and then when I've got it up, you're pulling it away and I'm trying to hold it up. So yeah, that type of training is terribly difficult, but very, very beneficial.
Good for toughening up your attitude, your determination.
Makes you mentally tough, and it
Yeah.
also strengthens your joints too. Because anytime you have to stabilize, and like if I'm doing an arm curl and you're pulling that down, I can't just resist without involving my entire core. I have to tighten up everything in order to maintain the integrity of my stance. So if you were to be pulling that down away from me, that's pulling me out at the same time. So I'm having to work the entire body just to maintain rigidity, just so I've got the integrity in order to do the work. So that's a lot of fun. We should demonstrate that.
Okay, we're going to move on to the leg
Yeah, let's
extension.
go to the leg extension. Okay, Murray, we have arrived at the leg extension. Spotting a leg extension as this type of apparatus is going to be similar no matter what we're doing, whether we're doing something for upper body, shoulder presses, whatever. We want to spot the man, not the machine. Go ahead and lift that out. Now, if I was to take that away, go ahead and drop your knee. If I was to take that away from you during your motion, it would be the same as if, now raise your leg up, it would be the same as if you didn't have that to begin with. So I definitely don't want to spot the machine. I want to spot your leg.
Okay.
Okay, so let it back down. Now, as you go ahead and do a few reps. Now, as you begin to tire and your quads start to weaken from the strain, then that's when be my job as your spotter to protect you, number one, and to assist you, number two. It's always, spotting is about protection more than anything else. Assisting to get more reps is your benefit, but my real job is to protect you. Okay, you're starting to tire. I know what's happening. I know the leg is burning. I see that you're doing all right on your own. I'm not going to come into play until you need me. And now I see you need me. I'm going to help you come up just a little bit. I'm just going to take the weight and I'm going to let it go. I'm just going to move with you. Okay, you said one more. Now I want two. Okay, come on. One. And one more. And good. Perfect. Now that is a good spot on the leg extension.
What'd you make me work so hard for?
Because that's your job, and that's my job.
Okay, next.
Okay, we're at the Z-bar, Murray. I'm going to show you some spotting techniques. These are going to be a different application of the term spotting. We're going to show the audience at home here how a spotter can actually create resistance. So I want you to do 2 reps, and then I'm going to change things up for you a little bit. So get your first rep and your second rep. Now here's what's going to happen. As your spotter, I'm going to produce more resistance by simply applying just a little bit of pressure, not a lot, just a little bit of pressure. And you can see by the look on his face and hear how he's starting to grunt that little bit of resistance has made all the difference in the world. Now I'm spotting him, but I'm spotting him in reverse. I'm providing resistance. Now I'm spotting him because he no longer could perform the function. So now I reach in to assist, which was be my normal job as a spotter. Let's get one more. Come on, I'll help you. And stop. Okay. Now, important, very important to realize, this bar is balanced in my hand. It hangs just like that. I'm spotting in the middle. If I was to spot this man over on one side, I'm going to tilt the thing over. See how that works? So I don't want to, when I'm spotting someone with a bar, you always spot the middle. So whenever you spot someone, spot in the middle, not one side. Never try to spot like this, where you've got both hands out here. There's no way you're going to be able to spot him with the same resistance on both arms that he is because he has his own. He's unique to himself. He's stronger with his right hand than he is with his left. I may be the same. If we try to spot each other like that with a wide grip, wow, all kinds of things are going to happen. I can't control that, so I don't want to hurt the man, so my job is to protect him, number one. So I spot in the middle to make it simple. So that's how I'm going to spot him. I want to show the audience one more time how that works, Murray. So we're going to, as a spotter, I'm going to provide resistance. Go ahead and do a rep. Now this first, I'm going to reach in and add a little resistance. I'm not pushing real hard. You don't have to. Just a little bit of pressure. I'm just making this a lot heavier, a lot harder. This is called man-to-man training. Okay, now I'm going to give him a little more resistance on the way down. Now I can see he needs my help, so I'll help him on the way up. Now this is really advanced training. And one more.
One more.
Good. Okay. That's great. Okay, and down you go. Okay, at no time other than right at the very end did we sacrifice form for another rep. That's another very important thing that we want to remember. Never sacrifice good form for a repetition. Always just stop short. Do them correctly and you'll get more benefit from it and you won't get hurt. That was well done, Murray.
And that is a Carter Cutlery high performance tip.